Oh,
Hello, Augustine. Let's get started.
yeah, all right.
Well,
Um, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
you can try taking off those earphones so that we can hear you.
Yes, you are audible. See, Augustine.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Doc. Um, so, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for making time again for another Actuate STEM Learn to Earn session. And today we are exploring prototyping stage or phase in STEM knowledge translation and commercialization. And as last week we had a comprehensive discussion about ideation stage or phase in STEM knowledge translation. And we learned how innovators or researchers brainstorm on the nature of the product or intervention or service Now, today we are having a discussion now on how now this small version of the product now can be made, and what are the challenges, and how is it done traditionally, what are the challenges, and now how we can explore these technologies such as blockchain to enhance that. So as we all know, prototyping involves money or finance, and it's require money. It requires money, and we need to understand what are the sources or funding mechanisms available for African innovators. Are there any sources? Are there any support mechanisms to ensure that innovators can build some of these prototypes, STEM prototypes? I don't think there are any funding sources. Maybe we can have that conversation. I don't think. And even if we ask ourselves, how can we do prototyping in a way that we utilize or we optimize limited resources? There are no even limited resources, you understand. Yesterday, financial bill was passed, and there's no even limited resources at all. So what can we optimize? So our only messiah now is blockchain and decentralized finance, and we will get to understand how we can leverage this. So without taking much time, I would love to say that this is the agenda of this session. We are starting by having now this presentation by our topic master, Mohammed Hamisi. And then after there, I will invite our CEO, Dr. Macharia, to give his comments. Then after there, we'll have an interactive session between within us. And after there now, we will get to have summit announcement. And then after there, I will give closing remarks, and then we adjourn today's session. So let me take this opportunity to invite our topic master, Mr. Mohammed Hamisi. Mohammed, mic over you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Agustin Arokwe, for lending me this opportunity to today evening to share some research and knowledge on the topic of phototrophing. So for this time, I would like to welcome you all for our discussion.
We lost you, Mr. Mohammed. Oh, he dropped off.
Hello?
Oh, you're back. Thank you. Lost
Are
for
we
a minute.
together?
Yes, now you're audible. Yes.
Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all.
Going in and out. What's going on?
Mohammed, you are muted. I don't know what's happening.
Somebody muted him.
Kindly the meeting host allow me to present. I think some settings are not accessible. I deny.
You didn't allow your permissions. Maybe you have not set your permissions because I can't see the video icon on your name.
Oh, I think maybe he has his pop-ups blocked because for them to allow, I mean your own browser has to allow permission. Mohammed,
Yes.
are you getting a request to allow permission from your browser?
Let me see my pop-ups and then allow them.
Okay, yeah. So Frida, what do you get on your side? You get a request to share screen or to allow him to become host.
They don't need to do that.
Oh.
For the settings they said anyone can share the screen. So I'm not restricting anyone. So it's something on his side.
His browser could be blocking it.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Hope you can see my screen.
Could you confirm, Frida?
Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. The problem is when I attempt to open another browser or window,
Yeah.
it doesn't open.
Oh, I think it's what you asked it to share. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, because when you're sharing the screen,
Yeah.
you would have to share all screens, not just one window. Share
Oh,
every, yeah. I think it's selecting a window you are sharing.
okay.
Mhm.
Let me start by sharing the entire screen.
Yeah. All right, bingo.
I think I'm almost.
Yeah. So when you want to share a file.
Ah,
Yeah. What happened? Did he drop off? Oh, some technical issues here.
Yeah, I think he dropped off.
Oh, well, so today we're talking about prototyping. Yeah. So what he was trying to share a file on his laptop. Is that was that the file explorer?
Yeah.
Oh man, why did he drop off? He was already good. He just needed to double click on his PowerPoints, something like that. So it opens up. Okay. So he dropped. Maybe we can start talking about prototyping. As we wait for him to come in with his presentation. So I think we can explain what is prototyping. Prototyping is a stage that comes after ideation. So we talked about ideation last week. And ideation is where you take two ideas from standardized, formalized knowledge. Remember, this process begins with exploration. Way back when you did not know anything, that knowledge was in the deep, which was covered by darkness. As we say, this is a Genesis moment. In Genesis, we found that darkness covers the surface of the deep. Okay, that deep is called the tacit dimension. So stage one in this knowledge conversion or knowledge translation, stage one is exploration. When you dive into that deep, it's like deep diving. So you have to wear your diving suit, okay? Wear your diving suit and you dive into the deep to go and explore in there. And then you go to stage two with what you catch in the deep, you find it in the deep, then you exteriorize it. So this could be equivalent to going to college. College is a deep place with a lot of knowledge which is unstructured knowledge. Then you exteriorize it. Exteriorization is what you call harvesting. We saw that in harvesting, you come out with raw knowledge. It's not classified, it's not graded, it's not sorted. So exteriorization is the process of harvesting, sorting, grading. And once now you have the knowledge graded, just like in agriculture, you have grade A coffee, grade B, and we saw that how coffee is graded. And so that process is in everything. The reason why things don't happen well in Africa is because there's no grading of the knowledge, or even the grading of the farm produce, or even the grading of the cows. For example, if you're producing your chicken and cows in the village, they are not graded. But you remember, if you listen carefully to the agriculture people, some people talk about ng'ombe za gredi. That gredi is what happens in exteriorization stage. Okay. After you have graded them, you now go to show off, like the agricultural so ASK show, agricultural society show in Nairobi, was where you went to show off your grade cows and grade cabbages and grade vegetables. That is what it means. That is what's called formalization. It's a show off, showing off. And when you show off your things, that's called a show. When you show off your knowledge, this is the same thing that happens supposed to happen in scientific knowledge, showing off. So such knowledge is showed off in conferences, webinars, seminars, colloquium, things like that, even publishing it, editing it in magazines, journals, all that work, and then peer-reviewed work. So that gets formalized. Now, when you're showing it off, it gets standardized. So in a formalization stage, you have the first stage of showing it off to the people. They are called peers who are going to review it. You get peer review. And then if your product is very good, it is standardized. So the knowledge becomes standardized. And when knowledge becomes standardized, now it can be used in the field to create products. So all the products that you see are based on standardized knowledge. For example, when I was explaining last week, in standardization, if you look at say, the electricity, we have a standard way of delivering electricity. The wiring system, standardized. Even the measurements, like kilowatt hour. Then for even the switches that you have in your house, up switch is on, down switch is off. You see? It's even standardization of the toilet flushing system, so that the toilet flushing handle in United States, it's on the left side of the tank itself, the water tank. In the British system, it's on the right side. We also talked about standardization in traffic. When the highways in the British system, the roads are left-hand drive, keep left. That is standardization. And then the vehicles, their steering wheel is on the right side. So that's standardization. So standardization occurs after multiple years of research and presentations in conferences. Then people agree upon a standard way of doing things. And that standard is what's called protocol. So standards are what are called protocols. For example, in the internet, we have now had how many protocols? We started with the internet protocols called IP. IP, internet protocol. And that internet protocol came around in 1984, which allowed one computer to communicate with another computer. So that's a standard communication procedure. So it's standardized, that protocol is standardized. And then the internet protocol, some people said, okay, now we need to exchange emails. And so they created simple mail transfer protocol, which is known as SMTP. See, a simple mail transfer protocol. That is that protocol now, when it is shared, so an email can be sent from your Gmail, it is going to go to your Yahoo inbox, or even your Outlook. It does not matter what is your email client, because the protocol is standard, like SMTP. An email sent from any email client, whether you're sending it from your web, or you're sending it from your Gmail, or you're sending it from your Outlook, or you're sending it from your Hotmail, or you're sending it from your Yahoo, it is all going to correspond. That is called a protocol. That's protocol for email. And see, that protocol would not have come at the exploration stage. This, you can see, it is already the fourth stage, which is the simple mail transfer protocol. Then that for sending mails, for sending mails. Then there's one for receiving emails known as post office protocol, or POP. So this work happened after many years of exchanging, people coming up with different things, and then they were agreed upon by the Internet Society. And they said, it's the informalization stage. So with this, we are going to formalize that. We're going to adopt the simple mail transfer protocol is the one we shall be using for exchanging emails. And then we're going to use the post office protocol for receiving emails. So outgoing mails and incoming mails, they all have got different protocols. And then now the website itself, the web uses another protocol known as HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. You see, that's a standard. The Hypertext Transfer Protocol is for sharing documents inside your computer, then you can share it with all the other computers in the world. It's called hypertext. You see that? Because when the email protocol, that was just sending one email between mailboxes. But then in the 1990s, said, oh, that's not sufficient. You want to be sharing like a whole document. Imagine, you can share 20 pages. How do you share those 20 pages? So people tried many things, and then eventually they formalized one protocol known as HTTP. So HTTP is a protocol for sharing documents that are inside, sharing copies of documents. That one document on HTTP can be seen by 1 million people at the same time. Is that mind-blowing? So that's what engineering, translation, knowledge of translation is all about. How can you, in the standardized stage, you figure out how to create a protocol of your knowledge that can now be distributed to masses. So HTTP is a protocol that enables you to share a document, one document with a million people at the same time, not a million, a billion or billions of people. And that made the internet possible. I mean, the World Wide Web. Now, next thing that came around, so you say we can share these documents with millions of people, but on what platform? So the next thing was called WWW, the World Wide Web. Okay, so the World Wide Web is also a protocol. So we say now this is a web of computers distributed all over the world. So there had to be a protocol for connecting all those computers together, known as WWW. Now, for all those of you who are very observant, you will see that your web address is known as http ://www period, then your domain name.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, good. Let's go now.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's good.
So,
Purpose for our okay.
okay, I start presenting. The
Yeah.
introduction start by the prototyping stage. The topic prototyping or the first in STEM knowledge development. So in our introduction, the prototyping stage is a critical phase in STEM. The STEM means that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this field where ideas and concepts are transformed into tangible, testable models, and this phase bridges the gap between theoretical research and practical applications. So allowing for experimentation, iteration, and refinement. So by defining prototypes, we can see that prototype is an early sample or model or release of product built to test a concept or a process. It is a working model used to evaluate a new design, verify its functionality, and identify any potential issues before a full-scale production or implementation. Prototypes are essential tools in the product development cycle, allowing designers, engineers, and stakeholders to explore ideas, validate performance, and refine designs through iterative testing and feedback. So we can have some trait or characteristic of these prototypes. And number one characteristic, we are highlighting the characteristic of representation of design. So prototypes are physical or digital representation of product design used to visualize and test various aspects of this concept. We also have the functional testing. So by this, they allow for the testing of key functionalities and performances metrics to ensure the design meets its intended purposes. We have also the iteration and refinement. This means prototypes are often developed in multiple iterations, with each version incorporating improvements based on feedback and testing results. A further characteristic, we have the material and method, feedback and validation. Prototypes can be constructed using different materials and methods, ranging from simple, low-fidelity mockups to sophisticated and high-fidelity models. So feedback and validation, they provide a tangible way for stakeholders to give feedback and validate the design, ensuring that the final product meets user needs and expectations. So we can skip to types of prototypes. And number one prototype, we have the low fidelity prototypes. The low fidelity prototypes uh, low fidelity prototypes constitutes that basic models often made with simple materials like paper or cardboard to quickly visualize and test ideas. These functional prototypes we have also the models that are specifically designed to test the working aspect of a product, such as mechanical parts or electronic circuits. We have also the high fidelity prototypes. And in high fidelity prototypes, it is a detailed and functional models that closely resemble the final product in terms of appearance and functionality. And lastly, we have the digital prototypes. And this is the final or the modern virtual models created using software tools to simulate and test product designs before physical prototypes are made. Significances of these prototypes, number one of the risk reduction. By identifying potential design flaws and issues early, prototypes help reduce the risk of costly errors in later stages of development. We have also exploration of and ideas and knowledge. So prototypes allow designers to explore and experiment with different ideas and concepts in tangible form. We have also the cost and efficiency, cost reduction, iterative testing and refinement through prototypes can save time and resources by preventing major designs during production. And we have also the importance of stakeholder engagement or collaboration. Prototypes provide a concrete way for stakeholders to understand, interact with, and provide feedback on the design, ensuring alignment with user needs and business goals. And last characteristic, we can say market testing. Prototypes can be used to gather user feedback and information and conduct market testing, providing valuable insights for product improvements and marketing strategies. So we have also the stages of prototyping, and number one of the conceptual prototyping. And conceptual prototyping, this is the initial sketches and mockups encompassing brainstorming and conceptualizing of ideas. And after conceptualized prototyping, we develop the prototype. This is the developmental prototyping. So by this, building functional models, use of 3D printing or CAD, that is computer-aided designs and other tools. We have also the refinement prototyping. This is the iterative testing and modifications, incorporating user feedback and performance data. Finally, we have the final prototyping, creating near final versions for pre-production testing, ensuring all designs requirements are met. So we have some tools that can be tools and technology in prototyping or used in prototyping. And number one tools are the basic softwares or tools. Like the one we've said above, that is computer aided designs, that is CAD softwares, and also the AutoCADs, that is SolidWorks. We have also the simulation software, that is MATLAB's ANSYS. And also we have the hardware tools, that is 3D printers and CNC machines. So we have also the laser. Apart from the laser printers in the hardware designs, we have the laser cutters and other fabrication tools. And finally, the materials. Selection of material for prototyping, for example, plastics, metals, and composites. All these material or tools are used in prototyping. We have some applications of this phototyping in different STEM field. And some of the STEM field we can have or we can highlight are the engineering field, biotechnology, computer science, robotics, and other agro genetic engineer. So in engineering, we can have mechanical, electrical, and civil engineering examples, and biotechnology, uh, phototyping, medical devices, and biotechnology innovations are used. We have also the computer science, software prototyping, user interface design, and app development. This is the application of prototyping. And in robotics, buildings and testing robotics system and components. We have some case studies where the studies were conducted to validate the application of this prototyping, and I managed to get some case studies here. The number one, yeah, we have the Tesla electric vehicle, where it was produced and prototyping the model S and iterative improvement, use of advanced material and manufacturing technology or techniques. We have also the Apple's iPhone development, from initial design sketches to the first functional prototype. It's iterative testing for user experience and hardware optimization. We have also the NASA's Mars rover, prototyping for extreme environments, testing mechanical system and software in simulation Mars conditions. All these are some of the case studies put to support this scientific discipline. So we have also the challenges in prototyping, and challenges I managed to cover some resource constraints, challenges, and resource can be manpower and human. That is human resource. We can also have the problem of technological resource, uh, managing budget and time constraints. We have also the monetary uh, constraints. We have also the scalability. And scalability means that transition from prototype to mass production. And the problem of uh, interconnecting the different stakeholders worldwide. This is the problem of interdisciplinary collaboration, facilitating communication and collaboration among diverse teams. So the future trends in prototyping, we have some hopes, and we are optimistic that advances in rapid prototyping, we have some impact of new materials and faster fabrication methods. We have also the AI, that is the artificial intelligence that is used maybe, for example, in the application that is currently in use by most of the students, most of the comrade, for example, the ChatGPT, that is the artificial intelligence and machine learning, enhancing design and testing processes. So we have also the virtual and augmented reality. So in this, improving visualization and interaction with prototypes. And then we have the SD, that is sustainable development. And sustainable development means that prototyping should be encompassing and should also be flexible to allow for future, and not only the future but also should be eco-friendly, that is environmental and economic friendly material and energy efficient processes. So for those few remarks, I would like to put down my conclusion. And in my conclusion, I would like to say that the prototyping phase is a pivotal part of the STEM knowledge, that is transition, enabling innovators to transform theoretical ideas into practical solutions. So by leveraging advanced tools, interdisciplinary collaboration, and iterative testing, prototypes helps to ensure that final products meet design specification and user needs. So understanding the intricacies of this space is crucial for successful innovation and technological advancement. Thank you. I would like to return this opportunity to Augustine Narope.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for that informative presentation about prototyping stage. You did you gave us a very comprehensive research about prototyping. We have understood that it's all about creating small version of the final product to test the viability of the product. And also you highlighted about the types and significance. And now you talked also about the stages. And you clearly highlighted about the stages. And when you look at the stages, from conceptualizing up to final prototyping, I think those are types, yeah? From conceptualizing up to final prototyping, it's really a very lucrative process. And it really requires a lot of money, especially, now STEM, science. When you talk about science, biological innovation, even geological innovation. Actually, we are talking about water initiative. We need to work together because there's no one we are waiting. There's no any other savior. It's all about us starting. And I do believe that at the end of this Actuate STEM faucet is going to produce very, very resourceful individuals to help us in future so that we can work together. Because when you talk even about now, the water initiative we are having, the arid regions, we talk about geological assessment. We need products, we need techniques, we need tools. And coming with those tools, you must come. For example, talking about tools for maybe geological, sloping, testing, all those techniques for water testing, tools, equipments, they must go through prototyping before the final products, and it's so expensive. So as far as we are learning how to translate this, we are also so optimistic that we are going to have a very resourceful individuals, and we work together because it's all about us starting. There's no one we are waiting to set our African continent free. We need to start working together as a community, and I believe in future this team is going to produce a lot of skillful individuals to help us work in all projects, because Actuate is a really, really a big deal. We are so diverse, and we need people. Talk about science, technology, engineering, as Mohammed has highlighted, talking about civil, electrical, and all those, mathematics. Now, quantum computing, you have heard the future of STEM, quantum computing, augmented reality. We need to do that. Why not us? So I do believe that Actuate is here to produce resourceful individuals, and also it is here to solve constraints, monetary constraints, as Hamisi has highlighted. So thank you so much, Hamisi, for that. And without talking too much, let me invite now Dr. Machari, our CEO, to give his comments. Doctor.
Oh, thank you so much, Augustine. And Mr. Mohammed Hamisi, thank you so much for now bringing back our awareness about prototyping. By the way, I don't think I've ever told you guys that I'm a fellow of the Center for Health Systems and Design. So design, that is in architecture and engineering for health. So in the Center for Health System and Design, we do all this work on prototyping, like coming with ideation, coming to bring new products into reality, creating from that empty space void to something real. And a lot of that happens in the College of Architecture, College of Engineering. So I have a lot of experience with this prototyping. So let me give you an example of what people do in architecture. Somebody needs to be muted there. What people do in architecture is that you come up with the idea, the ideation. Say, for example, we want to design a health facility, or let's talk about, a health facility with water projects, just like what Augustine has just said. So, and you see, this approach is going to be put on the ground. Before it is put on the ground, now you have to bring your architecture mind, your designer, let's say designer mind, what is going to be in this health center. Okay, you have to design the health facility itself, the building, but you're not going to design a building in air. It has to be on a piece of land. So first of all, identify the piece of land, and that's called landscape. You look at the landscape, you do the landscape master planning. So in that landscape, you consider everything on that piece of land, and then you see where the building is going to go, which way the building is going to face. First thing I learned in architecture is you have to know where is north. The first thing an architect asks you, where is north? So if you don't know where is north, there's no point of being to design the place or to think about the place. You have to know your directions. So once you know where north is, so you get oriented, the true north. And so now you can start putting together ideas. First voice on paper is maybe you're putting, or not paper now because there's no paper in a Microsoft Word document. There's an initial description. So the initial description is in text. So that text, you're describing what you want. It's an idea is described. Then we take it from textual description to creating cardboard boxes, models. We call them models. So maybe you have cardboards. You go to the supermarket and collect old cardboards or even some soft material, and you create a physical model. These physical models we're creating, they can be cheap materials, but they should be realistic models, gonna be similar to what maybe the clinic is going to be. And when you have created that model, then you invite the people, the customers, people who you're designing the place for. They give you feedback. First of all, you ask them, okay, here is the model, here is our model clinic. It's on this piece of land. It is 1 acre piece of land. This is where the clinic is going to be. This is the north. It's going to be facing this way. And so you have a small house made of carton material, carton boxes. It's not big. It's maybe 6 inches, 12 inches wide, but it is on a cardboard. That's a prototype. So why is that important? It's because it allows you to call people who could be investors or people, let's say the stakeholders who are going to consume your products, because you're not designing the product for yourself. It is for showing others, so you can have something to show. And every designer, and I think we should know that it is very, very important to create a physical model to show people. So when you show them, then you're going to ask them for their feedback. Tell me what you think. Where should we put this kind of room? If you're designing a house, the same thing. If you're designing a house like a residential home, then you want to invite the owners of the house and tell them, what do you think about the rooms, the kitchens? Is this wide enough? Is the bathroom wide enough? Is this living room? This kind of thing, you get the initial feedback. And then you go back and you integrate that feedback they give you. That's what it's called, an iterative process. And then you show them again. So in the prototyping phase, it means that you have to schedule the showing for your prototypes on a periodic basis, like every month or every 2 months. You see, we're going to be having a meeting, like the way we do it in architecture is that every 6 weeks, you invite the customers or the clients to come and see, or you take the product to them to show them. And this is what we are talking about. How do you finance all that? It's very important that when you're doing this prototype, you have when you're developing your idea in the ideation phase, you will have come up with a budget, and that ideation phase, you will also have identified potential investors, people who could buy your product. For example, if you're designing a house or houses, residential homes, you want to design residential houses for certain group of people because you don't want to design houses for yourself. Supposing you're designing a religious house, like a church building, you will be designing the church building for who? For maybe the Catholic Church, or maybe for the Presbyterians, or maybe you're designing a mosque. So there's always a customer for your product. So what we would like to teach you and teach all of us is think about the consumer, the end customer. Think about the end user. And I think where we fail many times is we want to design something, only when it is finished, we are trying to tell the customers, oh, here's a product I've done, now buy it. The customer will not buy it because you have designed a very beautiful product. The customer will buy it if in the design there's the input of the customer. The customer has already given you the input. That process is known as co-creation. That's why prototyping is iterative. And some people think it's a very expensive process, but it's in that expense that the money comes, that you have to work with your customer. So identify the customers first, and then build a relationship with them so that you can be showing them the prototype. And then in the first meeting you have with these customers, you tell them that I'm going out to design some models, some physical models, some small buildings, and I'll be coming to show you at the end of the month. Then you can tell me where we need to improve. So prototyping is an iterative process. Now that applies to everything, whether it's housing, whether it's church buildings, whether it is software development. You want to make sure that you're doing it together with your customer every stage of the way. So idea is yours, but then after that, in prototyping is when you begin the customer engagement. And when it's in advanced stages, like when you're coming to the final prototype, then you would actually call for an investor meeting, like a summit, a conference, call it an investors conference. Or for example, if you're designing, say, housing estate, so like what Ruto is trying to do over there in Kenya, the houses are not going to build themselves. You want to have buyers. So there's some models for housing which are known as built to own. So you want to design the housing units with potential owners, because people can start paying, they can actually pay forward, they can pay for the house that you haven't built it. They call it off plan. They buy it off plan. That means they give you money so that you can go and build the house. But they're giving you money because you have showed them something that they like. And that something that they like first is the initial master plan of the house, which is just on paper, and the blueprints, maybe they're on computer. And then you have some physical models, they like them. And if during that time you're doing the models, the prototypes, you're working with your potential customers, then they can start saying, okay, I'll buy 1 unit. And then you can tell them, if you want to buy 1 unit, this is where you can deposit the money. So they start depositing the money, they can book the units. So they're buying them off plan. See, and that's prototyping the same thing. If for even other things, even for in engineering products, you can actually sell your engineering, so you can sell your software ahead of time. You can sell and people give you money to develop the software. You can sell your medicine prototype ahead of time. Tell them you're making this drug for this, and then customers are going to pay ahead. So you can raise money to build the final product. Then when you have got some money, and now you can do some, you can now make a complete model, which is now say life-size model. Say like if you're doing building housing projects, you can build one demonstration house somewhere, like say I have this house in this other castle real estate. Then you invite people to come and see it, and they walk through it. That's just one house. Okay, that's a prototype for the estate. And then you say, I've got 100 acres. I want to put 100 is too many acres. Then you say, I've got 10 acres. I want to put similar houses. Those 10 acres are each on 1/4 acre plots. So 10 acres multiplied by 4, that's going to be 40 apartment units or 40 housing units. And you want to ask them to buy those 40 housing units based on the model, the prototype that they are seeing. Now, that's a demonstration house. So then people can actually put down money. Say, I want your down payment of so many thousands of shillings for this house, and then this is going to be yours for this quarter plot. So you can sell the plots there, but the plots are not the plots. You're selling a house on a plot, but the house is not built. Is a prototype. So prototypes helps you to do that. That model for selling houses is the same way for selling everything else, by showing people what I am making as a prototype. And you can imagine if now like people manufacturing, complicated products like vehicles, like electric vehicle, for example. So Elon Musk had to make the first prototype for an electric car. And then he would tell people to test it and drive it and feel how feel good it is, how, just experience it. And then they tell them that if you give me money, I'm going to make a car for you. And then he would ask a lot of people. Then he would do a conference. This is called investors conference. So you call an investors conference when you call a big crowd of people, and then you show them your prototype. And then if you're doing a housing project, you show them the prototype of the house. They walk through the house. So imagine you have invited 500 people. You take them through that house, and then you tell them that this house is just one, and I have got 10 acres to put up another 39 houses just like this one. So any one of those 39 houses can be yours, and you can buy all of them. If you invited even 100 people who have got money, even those who don't have money, they can go and borrow, and then they can come and book that house and buy ahead of time. That's how you raise money for using prototypes. So prototypes are very, very necessary to get funding. Now, for those examples you give us, like the Mars rover, robot, when you build that highly deeply scientific, say robotic prototypes in the United States, the US government helps you. It actually comes and gives you money, invests you, because they can see the US government invests money in your company. It actually gets you to register a company, and then it invests, because it knows that if you sell that product, one day it go to market, the US government is going to get its money back through the market. Now that process does not exist in Africa. You cannot go to present a prototype to the Kenyan government, and then they tell you that we're going to invest in your project so that when you make money and you shall pay us back. No, we don't have it, and that's why we are here. Okay. And now I just want to thank all of you guys, all the Gen Zs and millennials, for what you're doing in this peaceful demonstration in the whole of Kenya against Mr. Zakayo. Yes, budget. And you understand that budget is created by a centralized finance system. See, first of all, hat goes out to Mr. Rex Kanyike Masai, who was shot dead. Another person. And they say that Rex is not only 19 years old. They shot him because he's trying to help them get this police officer. I don't see any difference between the police officer who shot him and Rex himself. They're in the same boat. So sometimes, I think this kind of situation is that an oppressive budget like the one that's being proposed oppresses everyone, including the police officers who are fighting people with water cannon. It's very, very misdirected. But I think there's a solution to that problem, which is right here with us today. Let me tell you what the solution is, because you all know it, but it has not come to full awareness. Because you said, Mr. Muhammad Masai, you said that one of the challenges, the two challenges, you said human resource. We don't have any challenge with human resource. As far as people are concerned, we have millions. Millions of smart, talented young people, and there's evidence of that talent even in those demos that we're having in Nairobi. That's just pure talent. It's face. Even the organizing capability is just testimony of the pure talent. That is that talent that is hidden there on the surface, on the ground in a country. And that is what we call dead capital. You see that there's such huge talent capital there, but people don't seem to know it. To the extent that the MP for Dagoretti yesterday, in his exceeding foolishness, he was saying that those demonstrations are not real, they are photoshops. He says, oh, I am a photographic specialist. I know you can Photoshop. You can take a photograph from 2000 and then mix it up with a photograph from 2024, and you create. Today, that MP was told to go home by the people. He was not Photoshopped, or maybe he was Photoshopped until he told to go home. And that level of stupidity is what we do not want in leadership. And what Gen Z has demonstrated to us, all of us in the world, that degree of stupidity of that extent is not admissible in leadership. It will not work. One thing I want to reveal to you, but you already know it, so there's no revelation, is that the organization of those demonstrations is completely decentralized. Okay? It is completely decentralized. There is no central person who is coordinating the Gen Z in Kenya to go and demonstrate. It's a decentralized phenomenon. Why is it decentralized? Because it is on the internet, whose basic ethos is decentralization. When the internet came around way back in 1990, 1984, it was a totally decentralized platform. And what you have seen in Kenya today, in organizing people, is the power of decentralization. Okay, you know where I'm going with this. Now, they are organizing themselves in a decentralized manner using decentralized technology to fight a centralized budget that's coming from a central government system. And that is the problem, that the budget is not working because it's coming from a centralized system, from the ethos of centralization that has got one person who is leading the budget. It's called Zakayo. That is a highly centralized situation. And what Gen Z has demonstrated to us is that the ethos of decentralization is totally widespread and totally well understood, that it's possible now to organize people in a decentralized fashion that is incomprehensible to the traditionally centralized people. They don't get it at all. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, you have a solution right here in your hands for that budget crisis. That solution is known as decentralized finance. Okay? You have it. It is called decentralized finance. So decentralized finance for decentralized organization or decentralized organizing. Now, what you're finding as a clash right now is a clash between centralized finance and decentralized organizing. You see that? A clash between centralized finance and decentralized organizing. So all we have to do, all people have to do is tell them, listen, guys, bye-bye, centralized people. We are heading to decentralized finance. Because if you go to decentralized finance, there's no problem. There is no central authority. There is no Zakayo writing the rules for anybody. It is totally decentralized. It is between you and your wallet and your Actuate token. So what I would say that the solution to that problem is at hand. All that people have to do is understand it, because the way they have understood decentralized information system, decentralized communication, decentralized organizing, now is decentralized money, decentralized finance. And that's what now this prototyping and all that expense, it's quite now possible to fund using decentralized finance. And as Mr. Mohammed Hamisi told us, that we can use new technologies for prototyping, even what I just described about the housing models and creating model houses. AI, ChatGPT can compose for you a housing model. In fact, the ChatGPT that is visual, you know, GPT-4, GPT-5 that's coming up, that has just come up recently, and even the Canva, all this artificial intelligence, very, very powerful models for creating prototypes. So you have now the power, and let me tell you something else, that AI is also totally decentralized. So we have decentralized internet, decentralized web 2, which has helped people to organize organize those demos in Kenya. It's all on web 2, which is decentralized. And then now we use decentralized artificial intelligence for prototyping. And then finally, decentralized finance. And when all those things align together, when decentralized information system becomes totally aligned, even decentralized finance, then we will not have to worry about any Zakayo, because Zakayo is a centralized person. See? We don't have to bring anybody down because he's already down, he's out. He's out. And I want to tell you the example of how this works. Has been working over the past 3 decades. When the email came in the 1990s, the post office, talking about US post office, went to Congress and said, okay, when people start sending emails, we are going to go out of business because they're not going to buy what? They're not going to buy stamps and envelopes to send letters, because they'll be sending emails to each other. So the US Congress was going to stop people sending emails, and they tried. But email is not possible to stop, because email is not issued by the poster. It's not made by post office. So this is the same thing we are fighting now. This thing about the budget is centralized. So let's go on. What happened next? Then, of course, there were crackdowns on people so that they can, because the US, the post office was going to go out of business, and that was not a desirable thing in the face of the government. And so email people were being cracked down, being shut down, and email being demonized as, you know, a way of people communicating, terror messages and all that stuff. But then that did not phase, it didn't even stop the adoption of email, because the next thing they knew, if they are going to outlaw email in the United States, what are you going to do about the emails in Europe or even in Russia? So some guys created another email protocol, you know, it's called Hotmail, but it was not in the United States. So you could have a Hotmail account even if you're in the United States, so you can send emails to people. But Hotmail is not in the US. So the US has no jurisdiction to Hotmail. And then after that, it just opens up. Yahoo came, and then the rest is history. Now everybody can send emails. See? And so the same thing happened with the voice over the internet protocol. That in the early 2000s, some people discovered that in Facebook Messenger itself, 2004, you could speak to somebody through Facebook Messenger. And then the telephone companies went straight to Congress and said, if people are going to talk to each other through Facebook, we will never make a cent in these international calls. Mhm. And then we are going to have to shut down the companies. We have employed so many people, they're going to lose jobs. So the voice of the internet protocol was frustrated for a while, but only for a little while. 3 or 4 years later, these guys who made WhatsApp, they used to live in the United States, but then they left the US to go in Denmark, and they created WhatsApp in Denmark, whether in 2008, and WhatsApp became adopted all over the world that people can communicate without having to go through the traditional telephone companies. So it means that the telephone companies, you don't have to worry about them so long as they do their business the way they want and they are not going to make people poor. And this is the way I'm leading to, even with this budget, is that the centralized finance system, it's there, it's made by the people who are centralized people, but there's a new finance system. It's already here. It's not even new, it's about 15 years old. It's more than 15 since 2008. We have the blockchain itself, decentralized finance. And if all the Gen Zs, because it's a decentralized finance for the internet generation, decentralized finance for the internet generation, if all Gen Zs were going to get into DeFi, then forget those guys, forget those old MPs, those people who do not understand the new technology, who are saying that people who are out on the streets are photoshops. How ridiculous is that? So basically, what I'm saying is that the solution is at hand, and that solution is the blockchain decentralized finance. That solution is Actuate token. So one final thing I'll say about this, because we are in prototyping, that now composing the money for prototyping is going to be so much easier because we can now allocate tokens for every project. If you create a model, then you can now organize those monthly showings where you invite investors to come and put in money into your products. Mhm. And that is what's called quadratic funding. And we're going to be working on that over our next iteration, how we can now finance your projects, your prototypes. Is we go ahead, we know how to assemble people who have got money, and they're all the Gen Zs. The money itself is not the problem. It's not a problem when there's a lot of people together, because people are the money, or the money is within the people. So the challenges that seem to be there when you come to now decentralized finance, or you come to now the internet itself, decentralized internet, decentralized information system, decentralized finance, those challenges evaporate. They are not there anymore. They disappear. That's what I want to give all of you courage. And the statement, what you have seen, that the very ingenious use of the decentralized technology for organizing, that is the same ingenious use you're going to extend to organizing funding in decentralized finance, because decentralized finance is already here. So anyone who is not in Actuate, now is the time you tell them, get into Actuate, because this is how we solve the budget. The seem to be budget crisis is not really a crisis. It's a call to turn your attention to decentralized finance. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Augustine. Hello, Augustine. Hey,
Hello,
Frida.
Doc.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Doc, for those powerful comments. Indeed, decentralized finance is the way, is the savior, and we are so much proud to be here today in these difficult times. At least we are here, we are somewhere learning, and I think the future is bright. And thank you so much for also emphasizing on customer consideration as far as prototyping is concerned, because I think one of the mindset of an innovator is you have to be customer centric for you to prosper as an innovator, because we all understand how the world is evolving. People are innovating every minute, every second. A new idea, a new product is being launched. So you have always to stay unique for you to prosper as an innovator. And so customer consideration is very important. And thank you so much, Doc, for highlighting that. And now maybe a question when it comes to customers, because customers, is it possible for you to innovate something that is, or what is the significance of segmenting your customer or market segmentation, Doc?
Market segmentation. First of all, showing things to customers is known as show and tell, okay? When you're making a product. There are stages, at least when you show your customers to get your customer feedback. Remember, and this customer feedback, you only get it, you go at the prototyping phase. So in the product design, you begin with exploration. Exploration, you don't need any customers over there because you're exploring. Number two, exteriorization of knowledge, you don't need customers. And number three, now you are in grading, formalization. Maybe that's when you have heard of some customers, which is like at the pre-ideation phase. And those stages, particular exploration and exteriorization, customers have no help. In fact, if you take your ideas to customer, they will be telling you the things that are totally opposite because they actually don't know. Because that is the tacit dimension. Remember what we have said before, that darkness covers the surface of the deep. That is Genesis 1:1. Before the creation of anything, the darkness covers the surface of the deep. It is yourself. That's what you're told in Genesis 1:2, that the Spirit of God moved. So your spirit alone, by yourself, the Spirit has to move. At that time, there's no customers you are thinking about. And that is what Mr. Elon Musk described as staring at the abyss, because there's nobody who can understand what you're talking about. Even when you tell them, they tell you you're out of your mind, you're crazy. This thing can never be done. Okay? You see, I want to give you an example, like when, say, someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who was making Facebook, he was here in Boston, and he told people that I want to bring the social experience online. And people would ask him, are you crazy? Social experience is social, is a physical. I come to your house, then we have a party. How can you have a party online? You see, people could not understand what he was saying. Now look at Facebook today. people are actually having social experience online. So in the beginning, during that time, he was trying to exteriorize, telling people asking, what is Facebook? Telling them it's a social experience online. Is it? Then people ask him, what is it about? It's about connecting people. And he says, people ask him, and what about connecting people? I have realized, see, he was very young. I have realized you need human connection. Then people would argue so hard and saying human connection is when you go and visit someone or you go to a wedding. That's a human connection. Yeah, of course. So that time customers do not, in fact, the customers can discourage you very much. It's only after he has made the website and then he went with his friends, just a small group of friends. He asked them to share photos and put their profile. That is now for the first prototype. That there is, and I put your face, it was just a face, that's what called a Facebook. Because at Harvard University, there's a book with people's faces so they get to know each other. You know, a paper based on paper, it's a book on paper. So this Facebook becomes a website with faces of people. Now, when he did that, and then he told the young students, guys in his, his classmate, classmate, his dorm, that this is how you can get to know your friends in this dorm. And then they went to the next school just here in Boston, girls' school. And then they added the girls there. They said, this is how you can get a date. It became like a dating service. And then, very naughty Mr. Zuckerberg, he was saying, now we can now start rating, who is the hottest, like rating the hottest date that you've had, in this. It becomes a Facebook. So it becomes a social interaction like that. That is now when he's taking the prototype, first of all in his dorm, then he takes the prototype to the dorm in the girls' school, next door, the next college here. And then you see, that's the iteration. So he gets response. Then after that, he went to the next university, which is called Brown University in Rhode Island. And they did the same thing. So he did not know the customers beforehand. So the customers manifest. And so this thing of what you've asked about finding the demographics, the social demographics, you cannot even know it ahead of time. That's one thing. All that language created by college professors who have never built a business in their entire life. All they do is guesswork. Okay? If you are creating something, you test it directly with people. But you can have an idea. Say, like, for example, when Mark Zuckerberg was creating his Facebook, it was people of his age mates. So later on, a college professor can say, you see, the demographic was already there. Mark Zuckerberg did not have market demographics to make that Facebook. But now, when you look at the Facebook today, it appeals to teenagers, even as much as it appeals to the young youth, the young men, even as it appeals to young women, it appeals to mid-aged people and even to the grandparents. So there is no research that went ahead of time. So you can never know these things a priori. So in terms of market demographics, that's kind of backward, looking back. In design, there's no looking back. In creation, it's all forward looking. Do you understand? It's forward looking. So this, when you are prototyping, you are not prototyping for a particular age group or particular demographic. It's the idea that it is the problem that guides you, or the solution. Usually it's not the problem, it's the solution that you are creating is going to guide you. And the users are going to build themselves upon, the user demographics is going to build itself as you go along. When people who dismal scientists or backward guys or business planners, they can tell you that, oh, you did not think about all the demographics, you did not think this. And if somebody told you that, you tell him, yes, I did not think about them because that is not something to think about. what you are creating is a solution. So, for example, now the guy who created M-Pesa, when he was creating M-Pesa, would you say he had any social demographics he was thinking about? Who are going to be the users? Are they the teenagers or their mothers or the middle-aged men or the grandfathers? What was the demographic for M-Pesa? He was creating a solution for helping people transfer money. I don't even know, because maybe he never said what he was creating it for. So in creation, at that genesis moment, there's no demographics. And if you ask people, if you ask them go to certain demographics and start saying, how can I design for this demographic? Then you know already you have lost it. You have lost the opportunity. If you go to design for a particular class, you have already lost it, because you're designing a solution, and then the class comes out from the solution itself. It's almost backward, isn't that crazy? So yeah, you create a solution that can work, and then it finds its own demographics. Yeah. So I think that's the way I would
Wow.
answer. Yeah.
That's interesting, Doc. And okay, now creating solution, then now demographics will unveil them itself. How is that? Because solution must be associated to individuals of a certain demographic, or
How that works is this: that in this life we have technical problems all everywhere, every day. These are problems of everyday life. Okay. And what I want to tell you is that it doesn't make a lot of sense to think about all those things about the demographics or anything, but you want to think about the usability of the solution you're creating. Let's even take another example of let's say Uber. Uber, this software for transportation software, taxi. Or Taxify. You have Taxify in Nairobi. When you're creating an application like Taxify, you are creating something to help people to mobilize the vehicles on the ground to transport people, whether they are border or they are small cars. Somebody has got a private cars, and that's called shared rides. So instead of somebody spending the whole time driving his car by himself, then he can share his car with somebody else and can get paid. Before that becomes a business model that you say, okay, we are targeting, our market target is the young urban professionals who are employed, maybe 18 to 25 years old, who don't have cars, and then they can do a shared ride. But you see, when the guys who made Uber did that, suddenly the thing was adopted by people who are not just 18, 25 years old. Yes, whether somebody is 60, 50, 25, even teenagers can take a ride on Uber. So people who spend a lot of time thinking about market demographics, they lose it at the beginning. Yeah, because they are thinking, and I think that even Matthew talks about that when he said, if you try to find your life, you lose it. Okay? That's message. Listen to how that is contradictory. If you try to find your life, if you find your life, you lose it. But if you lose your life in my name, you save it or you get it. I think something like that. You can look at Matthew. That's the message, that don't try so hard to save your life by trying to over understand, over analyze the market, because by doing that you lose it. But then if you lose your life, that means lose that. If you lose your life in my name, remember that my name is your consciousness, original idea you want to create. If you lose your life in my name, you save it. That's what's written in Matthew. Who said that? Jesus Christ himself. And that is the message. It's not just Jesus, that's the message. It's a divine message of you understanding that don't spend time over analyzing to try and save yourself by understanding everything possible. But what you want to understand is the solution itself in my name, in the name of that solution. Okay? You can lose your life creating the solution, and that's how you save your life. See that? Does that sound like a contradiction? Yes, because it is. Now, if you spend a lot of time trying to save your life, saying that you are making for this demographic and you're sure it's going to do that, then you lose it. Okay? So you understand that. Give you an example, Airbnb. Airbnb, which became a multi-billion-dollar company. See, Airbnb. How did those guys did they create Airbnb for a particular demographic? What demographic would you say Airbnb was designed for? Augustine, you know about Airbnb?
Yes, but
What does Airbnb do?
I
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
okay. Airbnb is it business or business?
You're so muffled. We can't hear anything.
Okay. Airbnb I think is business, right?
Oh, you're disappearing.
Business.
Augustine, you're not audible. What I'm saying, Airbnb is where this company that coordinates individual people renting their own houses to strangers. Okay. If you ask them closely, and even the guy who made Airbnb, had he thought about what demographics he is going to create Airbnb for? You find that Airbnb, he didn't create it for any demographic. He was trying to solve his own problem. The guy ran out of money and he had a job. He used to live in Boston. Then he went to LA, then he lost a job, and then he was living in some other guy's houses, apart because he has no place to live. And then he found out he can pay people to stay, to crash on their I had his interview on YouTube. He would pay people to crash on their sofa one day, yeah, on the sitting room. So can I crash at your place? I pay you some money. And then some money, then can I have breakfast? So he gets, and then some of them didn't even have a sofa, they have an air mattress. So he bought an air mattress because he was very young, right after college, he didn't have money. So he could, if you don't have a place, he could come and stay at your place, but bring his own air mattress. And then he would give you some money, and then you would give him breakfast. Because he knew how to write code, he created a system, first of all, for himself, to find where he could get a place, a unit. He did it for himself. Can you believe it? Where he could rent somebody's apartment and crash there overnight and then pay him some money. That is how it began. So what I am saying, even Airbnb itself wasn't created for any market demographic. That is as it says, if you feed your life, you lose it. Because if you had spent the whole time writing business plan, sounding very academic, working market planning and all that stuff, we would not have Airbnb. What we'd be having is nothing, because first of all, you'll be having a lot of people criticizing him. Like, I would never allow strangers to come and live in my house. You see? Can you imagine now? It's almost no-brainer that you're going on vacation, then you put your apartment online, and you say, because I'm going on vacation, my apartment is going to be available for rent. And even you can rent multiple families. Very crazy. So the answer to your question, and for those people who are innovators who are here with us, is that do not spend a lot of time with all this market data, all this stuff you hear from business school. They are totally unhelpful. These things are written by business professors who themselves have never created a single business. All they write about there is guesswork, imagination of what they think what business should be like. They have never done anything like that. So you want people who have actually created something, and they will tell you that I never had any of this stuff. But it's good to understand demographics for economic reasons. But that is just where it stops. So even Henry Ford, when he was designing the Ford vehicle, the first car, and the first motor engine, because he was designing a motor engine specifically to help his father, because they had a farm in Michigan, and his father was using horses, but horses were eating so much food, and he said, and of course he could not do all that work. It is nose, and then Ford was getting very concerned that these horses, they consume so much food, they are not as productive. He said, can we mechanize this place? So Ford was trying to create a mechanical horse. A horse that can actually do all the job of the farm that the horses are doing, but an engine to do that work. And he wasn't trying to create a motor vehicle industry. It is just when he did it, now the first tractor that came out, then he was able to create a vehicle that can transport human beings, and people loved it. And then people were asking him later, how did you get this? Who are you designing it for? He would say, I was designing to solve the problem in our farm at home. See? So you have to have that thing, that consciousness that draws you upon a problem you can see that need to be solved, but nobody is solving it. And if it's not solved, it brings a lot of suffering. And that's what I'm saying about this budget. This budget we have right now, a budget crisis in Kenya, is that it is a call for creating a solution without even having to worry about the demographics. But let's go to decentralized finance, and you'll see that problem disappearing or going away. All of it totally gets flattened out. And so there is no, and once, say, for example, if you solve that budget problem, it is not for any particular demographic, it's for the entire nation, including those policemen who are shooting tear gases and water cannons. It is for human beings. You could say it's for life. So yeah, I hope that's a long explanation of this question about who is the market demographics. Don't spend a lot of time about this stuff you read in business textbooks. As I said, if you find your life, you lose it. If you lose your life in my name, say like Henry Ford lost himself to that engine, this guy of Airbnb lost his life in Airbnb, and even Steve Jobs lost his life in iPhone, and you can see Hayden Adams lost his life in Uniswap. You know, he made that decentralized DeFi system. And even Satoshi Nakamoto lost his life in the Bitcoin. But then he found his life in the Bitcoin. So if you find your life, you lose it. But if you lose your life in my name, you find it. What a contradiction. Yeah. That's contradiction for the mortals. That's what it says. That's the explanation. Okay, Augustine, back to you.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Doc, for shedding more light on that, and also telling us, or shedding more light on the significance of having early adopters of your product. So all innovators in the house, ensure you identify early adopters like Mark Zuckerberg, you have to have trustee, those who trust your product, so that now they will spread the word, and then now your product or service start moving and reaching to greater clients. So thank you so much, Doc, for emphasizing the role of adopters, and also now shedding more light on customer segmentation and all that. And as we have heard, ladies and gentlemen, here in Actuate Biomedicine, we lose our lives for us to find it. We need to move away from all these theories and just innovate. And something Doc is saying is that when you go to pitching of your business idea for funding, all those questions you must answer, all those theories you must put, you must prepare. You must prepare to answer how large is your market, who are they, which gender, which age. You understand? A lot of theories that doesn't help. But welcome to Actuate Biomedicine. Here we are losing our lives for us to find it. Thank you so much, Doc. So at this juncture, I think questions are invited. If you have any question, you can type it. Any concern, any comments also about our topic master and his presentation, our topic today, and all comments from our CEO, just share them on the chat box. As questions are coming, I would love to take this opportunity to give summit announcement that, ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting to hold a summit, the Actuate Pre-Boston Nairobi Summit, this coming December at Kenyatta University here in Nairobi. And the theme is using AI, blockchain technology, and decentralized finance to improve human and healthcare development. And the purpose of this summit is we are bringing all stakeholders together, from blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance communities, healthcare professionals and organizations, government entities who are focusing on health and even human development, and businesses and all people together to have a discussion on how we can leverage these technologies to improve health and human development. And so this is a good opportunity, as we all know. I know we have newbies here. This is a good opportunity for all of us to take part. It's a good platform for networking. As an Actuate member, you'll have an opportunity to get to interact with all people in the industry, diverse companies, individuals from across both technology, space, and also other human development sectors. And you'll get also to understand about what we usually do here at Actuate Biomedicine, what are our initiatives. And also the third thing you will get to understand is now the mega summit, which is coming next year, July, at Boston. You will get to understand the details about that summit and many other benefits and opportunities that this summit will come with. So, of course, there will be podium presentation by speakers, and we are inviting speakers. And when you visit our website, I'm going to share the link for our website. You will see the speakers registration guide. You will go through the link and apply as a speaker. You can come up with a topic and submit an abstract to us about now how these three technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and decentralized finance, can be leveraged to improve health and human development. You can come up with any abstract of, any topic, but it must contain the three technologies. So that through that link, you'll be able to understand all the criteria that is required and submit your abstract. There are so many opportunities that come. You will be able to network, and a lot of things you will be, in front in terms of interaction and other opportunities that the summit will offer. So visit our website, the registration link for speakers. You'll get to know more. And if there is any query, you can always reach out to us for assistance. This is for Actuate Nation and any other person. This is a revolution. We are moving. This decentralization in kitu ya mwananchi. I mean, we are moving with everyone. That is blockchain. Blockchain is moving with everyone. There is nothing like class in blockchain technology. We are moving with. So don't be surprised when we talk about you being a speaker or talking these things. That's how we move. That's how blockchain technology move. So inclusive. So go there and do the necessary as far as speakers are concerned. The other thing is, now you can come as an attendee. You can register, visit our website, register as an attendee. There's so many you'll get insights from these industry experts and interact with them and get to understand and learn more. Also, we are inviting, of course, exhibitors, organizations can come, individuals can come, institutions can come and share their products, showcase their products. We have an exhibition booth reserved for them to do that. The other thing the other people we're inviting or category is speakers, sponsors, organizations, companies, individuals who are passionate about healthcare and human development. We are inviting them to come and leave a legacy by sponsoring our summit. And when you visit our website, there is a registration link for sponsors. There is a form, there is benefit for each package, and we have several packages. We have diamond package, that sponsor or diamond sponsor, that package is going at $10,000. And we have platinum package, which goes at $7,500. We have gold sponsor. You can invite a gold sponsor, and that package for gold is going at $5,000. We have bronze sponsor. You can invite a bronze sponsor. That package is going at $3,000. And we now finally have silver. Silver is going at $3,000, and bronze is going at $1,000. So you can invite all of them. And the good news is that the challenge is there. We are having Actuate Summit, the Actuate Summit challenge, whereby we are involving Actuate members in inviting these sponsors and be able to get 5% commission in the whichever package that you sell. You understand? So if you invite a diamond sponsor, $10,000, you'll get 5% of that. So you understand. So you see, we are really moving with everyone. Blockchain is moving with everyone, and this is a good opportunity for you. So seize it and utilize it for your benefit. And you see now, when you're talking about attendees, Actuate members being attending this summit, when you visit our website, you will see attendees registration is going at $150. But if you work well, if we all work well, this will be free for Actuate members, priority. A very good space, enough space will be set for all of us to come for free. So because when we have enough sponsors for the summit, and then now all other things you see now are catered for, and we will be able to be together there and celebrate this. So you see, sponsorship is there, that opportunity is there. Utilize it as an Actuate member. I know we're having members from Dar es Salaam here. A lot of people. We're having a lot of people, and thank you so much, Mr. Damian, for joining us. Welcome to Actuate Nation. Thank you for joining us from Dar es Salaam. I hope you are hearing about this. We need people from Dar es Salaam, more people from Dar es Salaam to join us, so that now, because Actuate Nation is for African continent, not just Kenya, but Africa, not even East Africa, but Africa. So I think that is it. And for any query about the summit, you can always reach out to us, and we will guide you well. So the other thing is poster presentation. Another opportunity is poster presentation. You can come and do poster presentation. And when you visit our website, you'll be able to see the process of application for poster presentation, the criteria for your poster to qualify, to be presented, or to be among the for you to be able to present your poster during the summit. There's a criteria there. You can go through it, and if there is any query, you can always reach out to us for guidance. And you will be able also to see the benefits of winning the poster presentation. So that is it. And yeah, so let's seize this opportunity. Let's work together. And right now we are moving very well. The progress for the summit is is going well. We are having discovery call after discovery call, partnership, collaboration, and don't be left out. Be part of this revolution. And yes, we are all Gen Z, and I think Gen Z, they don't have any formula. It's all about conquering and conquering. So that being said, I think there's no.
Okay, I can say one more thing, Augustine, I think about this summit. So all of it, I didn't even know this. There are some people from Dar es Salaam. Welcome to the meeting, all the people from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. You are brothers and sisters. We love you very much. And so welcome to decentralization. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you about Gen Z is that what those demonstration you have seen in Kenya is a demonstration of the power of decentralization. Okay, decentralized economy, and let us use that power going forward. We don't look back. So Gen Z has a certain organization system which is called decentralized organization, and that means decentralized means respecting every single individual. So every individual human and his action, individual human being respected, and that's what we have seen. And that what has been happening this week is a demonstration of how decentralization how decentralized organizing works. Now let's take this decentralized organizing works to decentralized finance. Decentralized finance is now what Actuate is all about, Actuate token. And so this summit, helps you to bring the entire decentralization spectrum, like full spectrum of decentralization, from the decentralized internet to decentralized artificial intelligence to decentralized finance for global health and human development. That human development involves what you do yourself, because you are human. Whatever you do, we have invited you to come to the summit and show how decentralized you are. Already you are decentralized because you are Gen Z. That one, you are born into the decentralized world. And maybe nobody told you that you are decentralized native, a native of the decentralized nation. There is no nation decentralized, has no central authority. And that is what we have seen in those those protests in Nairobi. They are decentralized because they are being led by decentralized people who are decentralized native. And the only thing that was missing in this whole thing is decentralized finance. And decentralized finance is in Actuate. So what we are saying is this summit is yours. Come and show us the same thing, same spirit of decentralization that we have seen this week in the summit, and how you produce decentralization. If you now understand decentralized finance, the problem of money evaporates. And this is what we'd like to do. Make that problem evaporate, that you don't have to go worrying about those people making budgetary decisions in a centralized finance system. It is old, it's out, it's outdated, it's old skin. So we say new wine for new skin, new skins for new wine for new skin. All right. So that's what it's about. And this summit is about new wine, new skin. Yeah. So what the opportunity for you to participate is, Augustine said, create a poster. You have a poster presentation, and the poster will have to answer the question, whatever you're doing, whether you are in architecture, engineering, chemical engineering, finance, whatever it is you're doing, then you say, how is it going to be helped or to be, powered by decentralized finance and artificial intelligence? So supposing you're doing agricultural engineering, how can we use a decentralized finance and artificial intelligence to make that agricultural engineering even more powerful? Or even food processing, how can we use artificial intelligence and decentralized finance in food science in Africa? And so you can answer that question on a poster. So you're going to have a poster presentation. And so you go to our website and look at the poster presentation, the key criteria for participating in the competition. That is www.actuate.bio. And then you do Nairobi Summit. And then you see participate as a speaker or participate as a poster presenter in the poster competition. And there you will find a lot more information on how to submit your poster. And then during the summit, we shall have voting for the poster. So the winning poster, the winners will get good prizes. For example, prize to come to Boston in the 2025. We're going to organize that. So that's where one way you participate, by presenting a poster. The next way you participate by making a podium presentation. That means that you have to submit an abstract about what you want to present. And then you can participate also by running a workshop. A workshop is like a workshop for training people about, say, translation science in STEM. So we're definitely going to have a whole workshop on that. You can participate as, it's going to be a 4-day workshop on translation science, where people can go through all the stages of translation. Then you can participate in that workshop. You can be an instructor in the workshop, join the team. And then we can have workshops in your discipline. And then you can also participate by doing what? By finding sponsors. And actually, when you find sponsors, you'll actually earn a lot of money, because sponsors, we want them to pay top dollar to participate. So like $10,000 for Diamond sponsor, and that will put 5% of that money into your pocket, okay? Which you can convert into decentralized finance. Emmanuel, we can use secrets. Okay, well, that's what I would like to add to that. And thank you so much for participating. Always appreciate your presence here. And let's do this together. Of course, we have seen the power of decentralization. Let's take it to the level where it should be. It's called decentralized finance. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to add. Back to you, Monsieur Emmanuel. No, Augustine. Why are you calling Emmanuel? Augustine.
Yeah. God be with us. Thank you so much, Doc. And and thank you so much everyone for joining us today. This is Actuate STEM Knowledge Translation and Commercialization Learn to Earn session. And we usually participants usually receive Actuate token for participating in these learning sessions. So I'm pasting a Google form. So I have already shared it in the chat box, and I will give out 5 minutes for people to sign. And now after there, you are free to leave. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for that informative presentation about prototyping stage. Thank you so much, Doc, for always making time to these our sessions and shedding more light and guiding us. We are really learning, we are really appreciating, and we are really inspired. And yes, so I think for now the meeting is adjourned. Just fill the form and then leave. Thank you so much. Until next week, 8 to 9. And we are going to discuss now about manufacturing stage.